Captain Jake Morrison sat in his command chair aboard the UES Horizon, watching the stars drift past the main view screen. It had been 3 weeks since they left Earth's orbit, and the deep space exploration mission was proving to be routine. Too routine for Jake's liking. He had joined the United Earth Space Command hoping for adventure. But most days felt like watching paint dry in the vacuum of space. The bridge was quiet except for the soft of the ship's engines and the occasional beep from the various control stations. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez worked at her communications console, monitoring the usual chatter from nearby trading routes and military channels. Commander Lisa Parker stood near the navigation station, reviewing their course to the Outer Rim territories, where they hoped to find new worlds suitable for human colonization. Jake stretched in his chair and glanced at the chronometer. Another 6 hours until his shift ended. He was already thinking about the book waiting in his quarters when Amy suddenly sat up straight at her station. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," Amy said, her voice cutting through the bridges. Calm atmosphere. She pressed her earpiece closer and frowned at her displays. "It's not on any of our standard channels." "What kind of something?" Jake asked, turning his attention to his communications officer. Amy had been with the fleet for 8 years and rarely got excited about routine signals. "It's weak, sir. It's very weak. But it's definitely artificial, not natural space noise." Amy's fingers moved quickly across her console, trying to clean up the signal. "The pattern suggests it might be a distress call." Lisa Parker moved closer to Amy's station. "Are we picking up any ships on long-range sensors?" "Negative, Commander," replied Tony Martinez from the navigation console. "Nothing within 50 light years, except us." Jake stood and walked over to Amy's station. "Can you boost the signal?" "Working on it, sir." Amy adjusted several controls and the bridge speakers crackled with static. Gradually, a pattern emerged from the noise. It sounded like voices, but not human voices. The pitch was too high, and the rhythm was all wrong. "Is that what I think it is?" Lisa asked quietly. "If you're thinking alien communication, then yes." Commander Amy looked up at Jake with wide eyes. "Captain, I think we just made first contact." The bridge fell silent, except for the strange voices coming through the speakers. Every crew member stopped what they were doing and listened. Jake felt his heart beating faster. In all of human space exploration, they had found worlds with simple life forms, but never intelligent aliens. Never beings who could build spaceships and send distress signals. "Can you understand any of it?" Jake asked. Amy shook her head. "Not yet, sir, but our computer's working on it. The translation program is trying to find patterns." She paused. As new information appeared on her screen, "Captain, there are mathematical sequences in the transmission. Basic counting, simple equations. They're trying to establish communication." "Smart," Lisa commented. "Math is universal." Jake nodded. "Amy, can you respond with similar mathematical patterns? Let them know we received their signal." "Yes, sir." Amy began transmitting basic mathematical sequences back toward the source of the alien signal. Within minutes, the alien transmission changed. The voices became more excited, and new patterns emerged. "They know we're here," Amy reported. "Signal's getting stronger. I think they're boosting their transmission power." Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks entered the bridge, drawn by the unusual activity. "Captain, what's going on?" "The entire engineering crew is talking about alien signals." "It's true, Ryan," Jake said, without taking his eyes off Amy's displays. "We've got first contact." Ryan's jaw dropped. "Seriously? Real aliens? As real as they get?" Lisa confirmed. "Amy, any progress on translation?" "Some, Commander. The computer is starting to recognize basic concepts. Looks like they're repeating certain phrases over and over." Amy worked frantically at her console. "Wait, I think I've got something." The bridge speakers crackled, and suddenly words came through, heavily distorted but understandable. "Help, ... please, ... need help, ... Everyone on the bridge stared. At the speakers, the alien voices continued, becoming clearer as the computer refined its translation algorithms. "Ship failing, ... people dying. Oxygen running low. Please respond if anyone can hear." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. These weren't just aliens making first contact. These were aliens in trouble, serious trouble. Amy, can you determine their location? Working on it, sir. Amy's hands flew over her controls. Got it. Yes. The signal is coming from the Kepler 442 system, approximately 12 light years from our current position. How long to get there at maximum warp? Jake asked Tony. At our top speed, about 14 hours, sir. The alien voices continued their desperate plea. Colony ship Velter. 10,000 refugees aboard. Life support failing. Less than 72 hours of air remaining. Fled from homeworld plague. ... Peaceful people. Need emergency supplies or evacuation. ... Double quotes. Lisa moved close to Jake and spoke quietly. Captain, we need to think about this carefully. First contact. Protocols require us to report to Earth Command before taking any action. How long for a message to reach Earth and get a response? Jake asked. At this distance, about 8 hours each way, Lisa replied. 16 hours minimum for orders. Jake looked at the chronometer, then at the speakers where alien voices continued pleading for help. They said they have less than 72 hours of air. By the time we get permission from Earth, they might all be dead. Psst. They're calling themselves Zephyrians. Herbivore species from a world they call Zephyr Prime. They say their homeworld was struck by a biological plague that killed most of their population. These 10,000 are apparently the last survivors of their entire civilization. The weight of the situation hit Jake like a physical blow. An entire alien species facing extinction, and the horizon might be their only hope for survival. He thought about the regulations, the protocols, the chain of command. Then he thought about 10,000 intelligent beings suffocating in the darkness of space while he waited for permission to help them. Dr. Helen Garcia's voice came over the intercom from sickbay. Captain, I'm monitoring the alien transmissions. Based on their biological data, I might be able to adapt some of our medical supplies to help them, but we'd need to get there quickly. Jake made his decision. Tony, set course for the Kepler 442 system, maximum warp. Amy, transmit a response to the aliens. Tell them help is coming, sir, Lisa said carefully. Are you sure about this? Earth Command won't be happy if we make first contact without authorization. Jake looked at his second in command. Lisa, if it was 10,000 humans dying out there, would you want the aliens to wait for permission before helping us? Lisa was quiet for a moment, then nodded. You're right, Captain. I'll support your decision. Amy, what's our response? Jake asked. Transmitting now, sir. Amy's voice was steady, despite the historic nature of the moment. I'm telling them that the human vessel U.S. Horizon is en route to assist. Estimated arrival in 14 hours. Alien response came quickly, filled with what sounded like relief and gratitude. But as the computer translated their words, Jake heard something else in their voices. Something that sounded almost like fear. Captain Amy said slowly, They're asking what species we are and what kind of world we come from. They seem worried about something. Jake frowned. Tell them we're humans from Earth. Why would they be worried about that? Amy transmitted the information, and the alien response made everyone on the bridge uncomfortable. The Zephyrian voices became agitated, speaking rapidly among themselves before addressing the horizon again. They're asking if Earth is what they call a death world, Amy reported. Captain, I think they're scared of us. The U's horizon dropped out of warp at the edge of the Kepler 442 system. 13 hours and 47 minutes after receiving the alien distress call. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge, staring at the main view screen as it displayed the alien colony ship in the distance. The vessel was massive, easily 3 times the size of the horizon, but it was clearly in trouble. My God, whispered Commander Lisa Parker as she studied the readings from her station. Look at that thing. The alien ship looked like a dying whale floating in space. Its hull was scarred and blackened in several places, and Jake could see atmosphere venting from multiple breaches. Ship's running lights flickered weakly, and whole sections appeared to be completely dark. Tony, bring us closer, Jake ordered. but keep us at a safe distance until we know more about their situation. Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez worked frantically at her communications station, trying to re-establish contact with the aliens. Captain, I'm getting their signal again. It's much stronger now that we're in the same system. The alien voices filled the bridge once more, and Jake could hear the desperation in their strange, high-pitched tones. The computer's translation came through clearly now. Human vessel, please maintain distance. We are grateful for your response, but we must discuss something important before you approach. Jake frowned. Amy, tell them we're here to help. We have medical supplies and emergency equipment ready. Amy transmitted the message, but the alien response surprised everyone on the bridge. Humans, we have consulted our database about your species and your homeworld. Earth is classified as a Class 12 death world in our records. We did not realize we were calling for help from creatures like you. The bridge fell silent. Jake looked around at his crew, seeing confusion on their faces. Amy, ask them what they mean by creatures like us, Jake said. The alien response came quickly, and the fear in their voices was unmistakable. Your world has gravity twice what most species can survive. Your atmosphere contains poisonous oxygen levels that would kill us in minutes. Your planet has violent weather patterns, dangerous radiation, and aggressive life forms. Only the most dangerous predator species could evolve on such a world. We are peaceful herbivores. We cannot allow death world predators near our people. Dr. Helen Garcia's voice came over the intercom from SICPA. Captain, I'm monitoring their biological readings. They're right about the oxygen levels. Our normal atmosphere would be toxic to them, but that doesn't mean we can't help them. Jake stared at the alien ship on the view screen. 10,000 intelligent beings were dying over there, and they were refusing help because they thought humans were monsters. Amy, respond to them. Tell them we're not predators. We're explorers. We came here to save lives, not take them. The alien reply was immediate and filled with disbelief. It's impossible. No species evolves intelligence on a death world without becoming apex predators. Your kind must feed on other intelligent species. This is known throughout the galaxy. We would rather die than become food for death world monsters. Commander Lisa. Parker stepped forward. Captain, they're terrified of us. Their entire understanding of evolution tells them we must be killers. Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks entered the bridge carrying a data pad with technical readouts. Captain, I've been scanning their ship. The situation is worse than they told us. Their main reactor is destabilizing. They don't have 72 hours. They have maybe 20 hours before complete system failure. Jake felt frustration building in his chest. The aliens were going to die because they thought humans were monsters. He had to find a way to convince them otherwise. Amy asked to speak with their ship commander. We need to establish better communication. After a few minutes of back-and-forth transmission, a new alien voice came through the speakers. The computer identified the speaker as Ship Commander Kelthon. Human Captain, I am Kelthon of the colony ship Veltar. We appreciate your offer of assistance, but we cannot accept help from death world predators. Your species' reputation precedes you. Jake took a deep breath. Commander Kelthon, I'm Captain Jake Morrison. I understand your fears, but I need you to listen to me.
Yes.
Humans evolved on what you call a death world. But that doesn't make us monsters. We developed intelligence precisely because we learned to work together to help each other survive. We're here because we heard people in trouble, and helping others is what humans do. There was a long pause before Kelthon responded. Your words are ... unexpected. Captain Morrison. But logic tells us that death world species must be aggressive to survive. How can we trust beings who evolve to kill? Dr. Garcia's voice came over the intercom again. Captain, I'm reading massive energy fluctuations from their reactor. If that thing goes critical, it'll take out everything within 1,000 kilometers. Navigation Officer Tony Martinez looked up from his console with alarm. Sir, those energy readings are off the charts. That reactor could explode at any moment. Jake realized the situation had just become much more urgent. Not only were the aliens going to suffocate, but their failing reactor might destroy both ships if it exploded. Commander Kelthon, Jake said into the communicator, your reactor is about to fail catastrophically. If it explodes, it will kill everyone on both our ships. We need to evacuate your people immediately. The alien commanders. The response was filled with panic. We know about the reactor. Our engineers estimate 6 hours before a critical failure, but we cannot. We will not allow our people to be taken by predators. Communications specialist Karen White, who had been quietly working at a secondary station, suddenly looked up. Captain, I've been analyzing their language patterns and cultural references in their transmissions. I think I understand their fear better now. Explain, Jake ordered. Sir, in their galactic database, every single species that evolved on a death world became a conquering empire. They enslaved or destroyed other civilizations. The Zephyrians have never encountered a death world species that wasn't aggressive and violent. To them, we're literally the monsters from their nightmares. Jake stared at the alien ship, understanding dawning on him. These people weren't just afraid humans would kill them. They believed it was impossible for humans to be anything other than killers. Kimi patched me through to their commander again. You're connected, sir. Commander Kelthon, I'm going to prove to you that humans aren't what you think we are. I'm sending over a small shuttle with medical supplies and technical equipment. No weapons, just supplies to help your people. My crew will come aboard wearing only basic environmental suits, completely vulnerable to your people if we meant you harm. The alien response was immediate and filled with alarm. No, you cannot board our ship. We will not allow death world predators among our civilians. Then what do you suggest? Jake asked, his patience wearing thin. Your people are dying, and your reactor's about to explode. We're the only help you're going to get. There was a long silence from the alien ship. Jake could imagine the debate happening among their leadership. Finally, Commander Kelthon spoke again. Captain Morrison, if we allow you to approach, how do we know you won't simply take our ship and enslave our people? Jake looked around at his crew. Every face showed the same determination he felt. These aliens needed help, and it was the right thing to do, regardless of their fears. Because Commander Kelthon helping others survive is what makes us human. I'm going to prove it to you. Captain Jake Morrison stood in the shuttle bay of the UES Horizon, watching his crew prepare for what might be the most important mission in human history. Dr. Helen Garcia checked her medical equipment one final time, while Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks loaded emergency repair tools into a portable kit. Both wore only basic environmental suits, without any visible weapons or protective armor. Remember, Jake said to the small team, we're going over there to save lives, not to prove how tough we are. Move slowly, speak softly, and let them see that we're here to help. Security Chief Danny Cooper approached Jake with a concerned expression. Captain, I still think this is a bad idea. Going onto an alien ship without weapons or backup is asking for trouble. What if they try to take you hostage? Jake understood Danny's concerns, but he also knew this was the only way to gain the aliens' trust. Danny, if we show up armed and ready for a fight, we'll just confirm everything they believe about Death World species. We have to prove we're different. Dr. Garcia looked up from her medical supplies. Captain, I've been studying their biological data. These Zephyrians are actually quite fragile compared to humans. Their bones are lighter, their muscle mass is much smaller, and their immune systems are weaker. They probably see us as giants, which is exactly why we need to be extra careful. Jake replied. Amy, are you ready with the translation equipment? Lieutenant Amy Rodriguez nodded, adjusting the portable communication device on her belt. The translator is working at 97% accuracy now, sir. I should be able to communicate with them directly. Jake activated his communicator to contact the alien ship. Commander Kelthon, this is Captain Morrison. We're preparing to launch our shuttle. My team consists of only 4 people. Myself, our medical officer, our engineer, and our communications specialist. No weapons, no soldiers, just people who want to help. The alien commander's response crackled through the speakers. Captain Morrison, our sensors show your shuttle approaching. We're very frightened. Our guards are positioned throughout the ship, but they have been ordered not to attack unless you threaten our civilians. Understood, Commander. We'll dock at the coordinates you provided. The shuttle launched from the Horizons Bay, piloted by Kate Johnson, who had volunteered for the dangerous mission, despite the risks. As they approached the alien colony ship, Jake could see the massive damage up close. The hull was covered in scorch marks and meteor impacts from their long journey through space. "Look at the size of that ship," Ryan whispered as they drew closer. "It's like a floating city." Kate maneuvered the shuttle toward the docking port the aliens had specified. The alien ship's design was completely different from human vessels, where human ships were built for efficiency and durability. The Zephyrian ship seemed designed for comfort and beauty, with flowing curves and organic shapes. "Docking now," Kate announced. "Good luck in there, Captain." Jake, Dr. Garcia, Ryan, and Amy transferred through the airlock into the alien ship. The moment they stepped inside, Jake realized just how different these beings were from humans. The corridors were wider, but lower than on human ships, and everything was designed for creatures smaller and lighter than humans. 3 Zephyrians waited for them in the docking area, and Jake's first sight of an alien being took his breath away. They stood about 5 feet tall, with pale blue skin and large, dark eyes that seemed to take up a quarter of their faces. Their limbs were thin and delicate, and they moved with quick, nervous gestures. The center alien stepped forward and spoke in their high-pitched language. Amy's translator immediately converted the words to English. "I'm Science Officer Mirada. Commander Kelvin ordered me to escort you, please. Please do not harm us. We are defenseless." Jake removed his helmet and smiled gently, trying to appear as non-threatening as possible. "Hello, Mirada. I'm Captain Morrison. We're not going to hurt anyone. We're here to help your people survive." Mirada stared at Jake's face with obvious fear and fascination. "You are larger than our," Data suggested. "And your teeth. ... Those are the teeth of a predator species." Dr. Garcia stepped forward and also removed her helmet. "Mirada, I'm Dr. Garcia. I'm a healer.
Asti.
These teeth you see are actually designed for eating plants and cooked food, not for hunting. Humans stopped being pure predators thousands of years ago." The alien scientist tilted her head in confusion. But how is that possible? Deathworld species must hunt to survive." Ryan removed his helmet and knelt down to appear less intimidating. "Mirada, we learned that working together was better than fighting each other. We grow food instead of hunting for it. We build tools instead of using just our strength." As they spoke, more Zephyrians appeared in the corridor, watching the humans with curious but frightened eyes. Jake noticed that many of them looked sick and weak. Some were being supported by others, and he could see the effects of their failing life support systems. "Mirada," Dr. Garcia said gently, "we brought medical supplies that might help your people. But first, I need to understand your biology better. May I scan one of your people with this device?" She held up a small medical scanner, moving very slowly so the aliens wouldn't see it as a threat. Mirada consulted with the other Zephyrians in their language before nodding. "You may scan me, but please be careful. You're not as durable as Deathworld species." Dr. Garcia ran the scanner over Mirada, and the results appeared on her handheld display. "Interesting. Your cellular structure is similar to humans in some ways, but your oxygen requirements are much lower. I think I can adapt our emergency air supply to work for your people. You would share your air with us?" Mirada asked, her large eyes growing even wider. "Of course," Jake replied. "That's why we came here." Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently, and the lights flickered. Emergency alarms began sounding throughout the vessel. Ryan immediately pulled out his engineering scanner. "That's the reactor. The magnetic containment is failing faster than expected." Amy activated her communicator. "Captain Morrison to Horizon. We felt that shake over here. What are your readings?" Kate's voice crackled back through the com. "Sir, the alien ship's reactor is showing massive instability. Commander Parker estimates less than 4 hours before complete failure." Jake looked at the frightened Zephyrians around them. "Mirada, we need to evacuate your people immediately. Our ship can carry everyone, but we need to work fast." Mirada translated for the other aliens, and Jake could see panic spreading among them. Captain Morrison, our people are terrified. They believe you will take us as slaves, or food. Then, we'll have to show them otherwise, Jake said firmly. Ryan, can you help stabilize their reactor? Ryan was already studying his scanner readings. Maybe, sir, but I'd need to access their engineering section, and it's probably flooded with radiation that would kill most species. But not humans, Dr. Garcia observed. Our Deathworld evolution gave us higher radiation tolerance. Jake made a decision. That would change everything. Mirada, I want you to come with us to see our ship, see how we treat people, see that we're not monsters. Then you can tell your people the truth about humans. The alien scientists looked terrified but curious. You want me to go to your Deathworld ship? Not just you, Jake said. Bring whoever you need to verify that we're telling the truth. Dr. Garcia will start treating your sick people right here, and Ryan will work on your reactor. We're going to save your people whether you trust us or not, because that's what humans do. Mirada stared at Jake for a long moment, then spoke to the other Zephyrians. After a heated discussion in their language, she turned back to the humans. Captain Morrison, this goes against everything we know about Deathworld species. But you are risking your lives for strangers. This is not the behavior of predators. No, Jake smiled. It's the behavior of humans. Science Officer Mirada followed Captain Jake Morrison through the corridors of the alien colony ship, her large eyes taking in everything the humans were doing. What she saw challenged everything she had been taught about Deathworld species. Dr. Helen Garcia knelt beside a group of sick Zephyrian children, her movements slow and gentle as she administered adapted oxygen treatments. The alien youngsters, who should have been terrified of the large predator, instead seemed curious about the strange human female who spoke to them in soft, reassuring tones. The little ones are not afraid, Mirada observed with confusion. Children of our species can sense danger better than adults. They should be hiding from you. Dr. Garcia looked up from her medical work and smiled. Children everywhere seem to know when someone wants to help them. These little ones are very sick, but they're responding well to the treatment. One of the Zephyrian children, barely 3 feet tall, with pale silver skin, reached out a thin finger to touch Dr. Garcia's hand. The human doctor remained perfectly still, allowing the child to explore her strange skin with innocent curiosity. See, Mirada? Jake said quietly. We're not the monsters your data files described. Meanwhile, Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks worked in the ship's lower levels where radiation from the failing reactor had reached dangerous levels. The Zephyrian engineering crew had been forced to evacuate the area hours ago. But Ryan continued working in his environmental suit, completely unbothered by conditions that would have killed most galactic species within minutes. How is he surviving? Down there? Asked the Zephyrian chief engineer Telvin through the communication system. Our instruments show lethal radiation levels throughout that section. Amy Rodriguez, who was coordinating between the two ships, explained through her translator. Humans evolved on a world with higher background radiation. Our bodies can handle exposure levels that would be deadly to your people. Telvin's response showed his amazement. Possible. No species can adapt to such conditions and still develop intelligence. Apparently we can. Ryan's voice crackled over the cum from deep within the ship. And it's a good thing too, because your reactor containment system is worse than I thought. I'm going to need to physically replace several components. Back on the U.S. horizon, Commander Lisa Parker was coordinating the evacuation of Zephyrian civilians. Pilot Kate Johnson made trip after trip in the shuttle, ferrying frightened aliens from their dying ship to the human vessel. Each group that arrived was amazed by what they found. The Horizon's crew had converted cargo bays into temporary living spaces, complete with adjusted atmospheric controls to match Zephyrian needs. Cultural specialist Sandra Lee worked tirelessly to ensure the aliens felt comfortable, learning their customs and dietary requirements with remarkable speed. Your people are kind, said Elder Velrin, one of the first Zephyrians to be evacuated. She spoke to Lisa through Amy's translation system. We expected to be placed in holding cells or worse. Instead, you give us comfortable spaces and food. Lisa smiled as she watched human crew members distributing blankets and water to frightened alien families. Elder Velrin, we believe all intelligent life has value.
Ow.
Your safety and comfort are important to us. But we have nothing to offer you in return, the elderly Zephyrian replied. Why would a Deathworld species help us without expecting payment? Or tribute, because it's the right thing to do, Lisa answered simply. Back on the alien ship. The situation took a dramatic turn when emergency alarms began blaring throughout the vessel. Jake's communicator crackled with urgent voices from both ships. Captain? Kate's voice came through clearly. Long-range sensors are picking up 3 ships approaching fast. They're not broadcasting identification signals. Jake grabbed his communicator. Lisa, what do you make of those ships? Sir, based on their configuration and approach pattern, I'd say they're pirates. Probably Scarith Collective. They must have detected the distress signals and come looking for easy prey. Murata's face went pale with terror. Pirates? But we have no defenses. Our weapon systems failed weeks ago. Jake looked at the frightened alien scientist. Don't worry, Murata. The Horizon has defensive capabilities. But Captain Morris and Murata said desperately, the Scarith are known throughout this sector. They are violent raiders who sell civilians into slavery. Your single ship cannot fight 3 pirate vessels. Operations Officer Greg Phillips. Voice came over the comm from the Horizon. Captain, the pirate ships are demanding we withdraw immediately. They claim salvage rights on the alien vessel. Jake felt anger building in his chest. These pirates wanted to prey on helpless refugees, and they expected humans to just leave. Greg transmitted a response. Tell them the Zephyrian ship is under the protection of the United Earth Space Command. They need to withdraw immediately.
What?
Pirate response came back quickly, filled with laughter. Human ship, you are outnumbered 3-1. Withdraw now, or we will destroy you and take the aliens anyway. Dr. Garcia looked up from her medical work. Captain, I have about 200. Zephyrian stabilized, but there are still thousands aboard this ship. If those pirates attack... Ryan's voice crackled over the comm from the reactor chamber. Captain, I need at least 2 more hours to prevent a core breach. If we move the ship now, the reactor will explode. Jake found himself facing an impossible situation. Pirates were closing in, the reactor was about to explode, and thousands of innocent aliens needed protection. But as he looked around at his crew, he saw determination on every human face. Murata, Jake said calmly, I want you to watch what happens next. This is what humans do when innocent people are threatened. Jake activated his ship-wide communication system. All hands. This is the captain. We have 3 pirate vessels approaching with hostile intent. They want to harm the people we're trying to save. That's not going to happen on my watch. Tactical Officer Steve Adams' voice came through the comm. Captain, weapons systems are online and ready. Shields at maximum power. Sir, came weapons. Specialist Rachel Moore's voice, I'm tracking all 3 pirate ships. Awaiting your orders. The first pirate ship opened fire without warning, sending energy beams toward both the Horizon and the crippled Zephyrian vessel. Jake watched as his crew responded with the speed and precision that came from training on a Deathworld. Evasive maneuvers. Retained Rachel. Return fire on the lead ship. Steve, coordinate with Kate to keep them away from the colony. Ship. The Horizon moved with grace and power that amazed the watching Zephyrians. The human ship dodged incoming fire while simultaneously protecting the larger, helpless alien vessel. How are they doing that? Murata whispered in awe. Your ship moves like a living creature. Humans have excellent reflexes, Jake explained as the ship shook from a near miss. We had to develop them to survive on Earth. The battle continued for several minutes, with the Horizon using superior maneuverability to fight off 3 larger ships. The pirates had expected an easy victory against a single human vessel. But they quickly learned that Deathworld species brought certain advantages to combat. Captain Steve Adams reported the pirates are retreating. Their lead ship took heavy damage, and they don't want to risk further losses against a Deathworld crew. As the pirate ships fled, Murata stared at Jake with newfound understanding. You fought 3 ships to protect people you barely know. You risked your lives for strangers. Jake nodded. That's what humans do, Murata. We protect those who can't protect themselves. The alien scientist was quiet for a long moment, processing everything she had witnessed. Finally, she spoke. Captain Morrison, I believe I understand now. Your evolution on a death world did not make you monsters. It made you guardians. The Scarith pirate ships regrouped at the edge of the star system, their commanders furious at being driven off by a single human vessel. Captain Jake Morrison watched them on the long-range sensors, knowing this was far from over. Captain, reported Tactical Officer Steve Adams from the Horizons Bridge. The pirates are broadcasting to their fleet. I'm picking up at least 6 more ships heading this way. Jake's jaw tightened. 3 pirate ships had been manageable, but 9 would be a real fight. He looked at the alien colony ship on his view screen, still venting atmosphere and radiation. From its failing systems? How much longer do we need, Ryan? Jake asked through his communicator. Chief Engineer Ryan Brooks's voice crackled back from deep within the Zephyrian ship. At least another hour, Captain. Maybe 90 minutes if we want to be sure the reactor won't explode during transport. Science. Officer Murata stood beside Jake on the alien ship's bridge, watching the human crew work with growing amazement. She had seen her people's fears transform into curiosity, then into something approaching trust. Captain Morrison Murata said quietly, Your people cannot fight 9 pirate ships. You should take whoever you can save and leave. It is the logical choice. Jake turned to look at the pale blue alien, her large dark eyes filled with resignation. Murata, how many of your people are still on this ship? Approximately 7,000, she replied. It's too many for your vessel to carry in one trip. Then we don't leave anyone behind, Jake said firmly. Commander Kelthan approached them, moving carefully on his thin legs. The Zephyrian ship commander had been watching the humans work for hours, and his entire worldview was crumbling. Captain Morrison, Kelthan said through Amy's translator, I owe you an apology. Everything we believed about Deathworld species was wrong. You are not predators. You are. Something we have never encountered before. What are we, Commander? Jake asked gently. Protectors, Kelthan replied. Risk everything to save. Others, even strangers who fear you. This is not the behavior our science predicted. The conversation was interrupted by urgent voices from the Horizons Bridge. Captain Morrison, this is Commander Parker. The pirate fleet is moving toward us. Estimated arrival in 20 minutes. Jake activated his ship-wide communication system. All Horizon crew, this is the captain. We're about to face overwhelming odds to protect innocent lives. I won't order anyone to stay and fight. Anyone who wants to evacuate with the refugees can do so. The response came immediately from every station on both ships. Not a single human crew member chose to leave. Dr. Helen Garcia's voice came over. They come from the refugee areas. Captain, the Zephyrians are asking why we're staying to fight for them. They don't understand why we'd risk our lives for people we just met. Tell them it's because that's who we are, Jake replied, as the pirate fleet approached. The remaining Zephyrians gathered to watch what they expected to be their final moments. They had resigned themselves to slavery or death, but the humans continued working as if they could somehow win against impossible odds. Pilot Kate Johnson launched in a shuttle to ferry more refugees. Despite the approaching danger, Captain, I can get another 50 people to safety before the pirates arrive. Do it, Kate. Every life matters. Weapons specialist Rachel Moore prepared the Horizon's defensive systems while monitoring the approaching ships. Captain, I'm reading. 9 Scarith vessels. They've got us outgunned at least 5-1. Then we'll have to be 5 times smarter, Jake replied calmly. The lead pirate ship opened communication channels, and a harsh voice filled with malicious amusement spoke to the humans. Human vessel, you have 30 seconds to withdraw before we destroy you. Your heroic gestures are amusing, but pointless. Stand down now. Jake's response was steady and determined. This is Captain Morrison of the United Earth Space Command Vessel Horizon. The beings on this ship are under our protection. You will withdraw immediately. The pirate laughter echoed through the communication system. Humans, you face 9 ships. With one, even Deathworld madness has limits. Prepare to die. What happened next shocked everyone, including the human crew. Instead of opening fire, Jake did something unexpected. "Open a channel to all ships in the system," Jake ordered. "I want everyone to hear this." Amy Rodriguez established the communication link. "Channel open, sir. Attention all vessels. This is Captain Jake Morrison representing the human species and the United Earth Space Command. The beings on this colony ship are refugees fleeing a plague that destroyed their homeworld. They are peaceful people seeking nothing more than a chance to survive. Any attack on them is an attack on everything decent in this galaxy." Jake paused, letting his words sink in before continuing. "To the Scarth pirates, you see one human ship facing 9 of yours, and you think the odds are in your favor? You're making the same mistake the Zephyrians made. You think being from a death world makes us monsters? You're wrong." The human captain's voice grew stronger, filled with quiet determination. "Being from a death world doesn't make us killers. It makes us survivors. It makes us protectors. It makes us the kind of people who will face impossible odds to save innocent lives. And most importantly, it makes us the kind of people who never, ever give up." Jake looked around at his crew, seeing the same resolve on every face. "Fleet, you have one chance to withdraw peacefully. If you choose to attack, you'll discover what humans are really capable of when we're defending others." The pirate response was immediate and violent. All 9 ships opened fire simultaneously, filling space with deadly energy beams aimed at both the horizon and the helpless colony ship. What followed was a display of human capability that left the watching Zephyrians speechless. The horizon moved through the enemy fire like a dancer, its crew working with perfect coordination born from training on a world where split-second decisions meant life or death. Steve Adams coordinated defensive maneuvers, while Rachel Moore returned fire with precision that seemed impossible. Kate Johnson flew her shuttle through the battle zone, continuing to evacuate refugees even as energy beams flashed around her. The pirates had expected an easy victory, but they found themselves fighting an enemy that refused to follow the rules of engagement. Humans didn't fight like other species. They fought like beings who had evolved to survive anything the universe could throw at them. One by one, the pirate ships began to withdraw. Their commanders had realized they were fighting something beyond their understanding, a species that became more dangerous when protecting others, not when attacking them. Captain Steve Adams reported, "The remaining pirate ships are retreating. We're broadcasting warnings to other Scarth vessels about engaging human ships." Jake allowed himself a small smile. "Good. Let the word spread." Commander Kelthan approached Jake with obvious awe. "Captain Morrison, your species has just redefined what we thought we knew about Deathworld evolution. You have shown us that the most dangerous planets don't create the most dangerous people. They create the most protective people." Darcia's voice came over the comm. "Captain, all Zephyrian refugees are safely aboard the horizon. Ryan reports the colony ship's reactor is stable enough for transport to their new homeworld." As the ships prepared to depart, Murata spoke to Jake one final time. "Captain Morrison, our people will remember this day forever. We will tell the galaxy that humans are not the monsters we feared, but the guardians we never knew we needed." Jake nodded, looking out at the stars. "Murata, that's all we've ever wanted to be." The UES Horizon and the Zephyrian colony ship set course for the aliens' new home, carrying with them a new understanding between species and the knowledge that sometimes the strongest beings in the galaxy are the ones who choose to protect rather than conquer.